The National Archives has made public a letter rejecting Donald Trump's effort to claim executive privilege over more than 700 pages of classified documents. The letter, sent in May, was in response to the former president's request to shield the FBI from reviewing the material recovered from Mar-a-Lago back in January. The National Archives informed Trump's legal team the government would be able to review the documents to determine how they were handled and to assess any potential damage to national security. Government officials made 2 more visits to the resort after that letter was sent to recover even more documents. It's unclear how many pages of classified information were found during those trips. Meanwhile, a federal judge has ordered Trump to clarify his request for a special master to review the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. Judge Aileen Cannon, appointed by Trump, asked his team to explain why they chose her court to state more precisely what they're asking and to resubmit their motions in the correct format. Politico writes, Cannon did not explicitly criticize the 27-page motion Trump's lawyers filed on Monday, but her request for clarification seemed to dovetail with criticism from some legal observers who called the submission convoluted, confusing, and loaded with heaping servings of political rhetoric unrelated to the legal questions at issue. Trump's team now has until Friday to clarify that filing. Let's bring in former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuade and political investigations reporter for The Washington Post, Josh Dawsey. Good morning to you both. Barbara, let me ask you about this letter from the judge back to the Trump legal team. What should we read into that beyond her saying, your work isn't finished here, explain why you want me to look at this and perhaps find a special master?
Yeah, in the politest terms, she's asking some questions that really are raised by the filing itself. It's very unclear what it is they're even asking for. It's unclear why they filed it with her. Perhaps there was some thought that since she is a Trump appointee, she would make a ruling that is favorable to him. Sometimes that's referred to as judge shopping. And she wondered, why on earth isn't this assigned to the very magistrate judge who's already looking at this? And that is what seems appropriate here. She's giving him every opportunity, really bending over backwards as a courtesy to give him an opportunity to answer those questions. But I think in the end, this is a matter properly before the magistrate judge. A request for a special master is not unheard of, although in this case, it seems that with the passage of 2 weeks, the government will already have reviewed these documents, and so ultimately it will be futile. To me, this document, this filing, seems more like an opportunity for Trump to vent and make a political statement than it is anything asking for any real legal relief.
Well, it seems like most of the defense of this entire episode is exactly that. You sort of answered my question, but I was going to ask you if you see the special master even happening at this point, because as you point out, it's been over 2 weeks since they went in and got the materials. They weren't sitting and waiting to see how Donald Trump and his team were going to respond. Clearly, the Justice Department has been going through these files. So does this go anywhere, or is it just kind of a stalling and distraction tactic?
Yeah, I think it's probably the latter. You know, the idea of a special master is something that is done usually when it involves attorney-client privilege. So if a lawyer's office is searched, for example, and there may be all kinds of things relating to other clients. Michael Cohen's office was subject to a special master review. There's a filter team that can filter out privileged materials and pass the rest on to the investigative team. But here, I think one reason is that Donald Trump is not asserting attorney-client privilege, but executive privilege, which that archives letter says belongs to the current executive. Donald Trump's claims cannot supersede the current executive who wants to see it. The other is, I imagine there has been great urgency to review these documents, because not only do they want to have them back for safekeeping, they want to do a damage assessment to find out if sources or methods have been compromised around the world, and they need to see the documents to do that. And that has some urgency if lives are at stake, as you know, people who are assets in foreign countries. So my guess is the train has left the station on that.